The people who will be happy Yawmul Qiyamah, it is those who do things sincerely for Allah Azza wa Jal, and they do it upon the sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is what they build their movements upon. The Kitab of Allah, the Sunnah of Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, upon the understanding of the Salaf of this Ummah. This is what they build everything upon. At-Tawheed was Sunnah. It is important that we know and that we understand this, because a person can be sincere, he can truly intend to do an action for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but if it is not in compliance to the Sharia of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if it's not in compliance to the way of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is rejected. It is rejected. In this and therein we see how misguided they are. Those who are given to emotionalism. Those who are given to emotionalism, and they go out and they commit acts of atrocity, and they saying they're doing this for the deen of al-Islam. They're doing this for the deen of al-Islam. How can an act of atrocity be something that will benefit the deen of al-Islam? How can an act of atrocity be something that a person worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by way of? Bila shak wa bila rayb, the likes of these things will be rejected. Bila shak wa bila rayb, it will be rejected. No matter how sincere a person claims, no matter how sincere he claims, he gets no points for that. He gets no points because he says, but I did it for Allah. He gets no points because he says, but I did it to raise the banner of al-Islam. He gets no points because he says, but I intended to bring some victory to al-Islam. You don't bring victory to al-Islam by doing things that are un-Islamic. You don't raise the banner of al-Islam by doing things that are contradiction to al-Islam. You don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing things in which His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbid, by doing things in which His Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not teach you. Because what are you saying? You're saying that you know better than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you think that your way is better than the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you think that your way is finer than the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you think that your guidance is better than the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Do you think that your way is going to bring you that which was better than was brought for the Sahaba? You think your methodology is better? Ya subhanallah. When we examine this, when we look at this, we realize what? That the way of al-Qaeda, that the way of Daesh, that the way of Shabab, that the way of all of these Khariji groups is not from the deen of al-Islam whatsoever. It is not that which is acceptable in the deen of Islam whatsoever. It is not that in which they will be rewarded for, because it is upon contradiction of the Prophet ﷺ. It is upon that which is in contradiction to the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa raddun." Whoever does an action that does not, whoever introduces, whoever invents, whoever innovates into this affair of ours that which is not from it, then it is rejected. And in another narration, "Man amila amalan laysa alayhi amruna fahuwa raddun." Whoever does an action that does not have on it, or that is not in compliance with our command, whoever does an action that is not in compliance with our command, then it is raddun, it is rejected. So let the people understand this. This is why the Muslims, we will never, those who are guided to that which is right, those who understand what Islam really is, we will never, we could never, we can never speak well and condone the likes of what has happened in Paris. We can never accept the likes of these things. We can never look at these things in a good light and put a good spin on these things, because these things are utterly against the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are against the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are not upon the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how in the world can an individual claim that he is bringing victory, that he is defending the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by doing that which is in stark contradiction to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying that he is defending the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by disobeying the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Ya Salaam. saying that this is a sign of his love for the Prophet, by disobeying the Prophet, by contradicting the Prophet, by being upon a way that is contradictory to the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by being in stark contrast to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then we find those from the Ummah who truly love the Prophet ﷺ doing the likes of this, the likes of Abu Bakr, the likes of Umar, the likes of Uthman, the likes of Ali, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, the Sahaba. Did we find them showing their love for the Prophet ﷺ by disobeying the Prophet ﷺ? Did we find them showing their practicing of the Sunnah by doing things that were contrary to the Sunnah, doing things that they made up, doing things that they invented themselves, doing things that they thought was better? La wallah. But rather they were upon the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and they are examples for us, and they are that which the Prophet ﷺ has commanded that we follow. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Alaykum bi sunnati wa sunnati al-khulafa ar-rashidin al-mahdiyyin min ba'di." It is binding upon you to hold on to my Sunnah and the Sunnah of the rightly guided khulafa after me. So we ask you, ya ibad, weigh what these evil individuals have done. Weigh what these brothers of the shayateen have done for the atrocities that they committed there in France. And weigh that compared to the best of this ummah. Weigh that compared to those who truly love the Prophet ﷺ. Weigh that against those who truly defended the Prophet ﷺ. And you'll see that that the way of the Sahaba is way upon the east, and their way is way beyond the west, way to another planet, another galaxy, another solar system. Can't even be mentioned in the same breath. This is how in stark contradiction it is to the way of the Prophet ﷺ. This is how in stark contradiction it is to the way of Islam. This is how in stark contradiction it is to that which the Prophet ﷺ taught. So how in the world can a person associate that with the deen of al-Islam?